All right, let's learn some MIDI in Reaper. About time, huh? Okay, I'm going to get Reaper opened up here, and we're going to move over here. Great. And actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I want you to load a new plugin. It's going to be a towel noisemaker. So if you just search towel noisemaker, should come up. And there's an OS X version and a Windows version. So obviously, if I wanted the OS X version, I've already downloaded it, and we'll notice, it went to my trash after I installed it. So after it finishes downloading, why is that open? Let's quit that nonsense. Just adding extra nonsense to my processor. It's a basic installer, so should be much easier than other things you've done. And it'll install everything where you need it to go. If you already have Reaper open, you'll of course want to open up Reaper, go to your preferences, go to MIDI, VST, and rescan to make sure that it finds it. It should be there then. Okay, let's add a couple things. In my master channel now, I'm going to add a new effects. I'm going to add frequency. I've already got it typed in there. JS, frequency spectrum analyzer, add. Great, just so we can kind of see what's going on. Now let's create a new track that we're going to put a MIDI instrument into. Now normally I might double click in my TCP to create a new track, but in this case I'm actually going to go, when working with MIDI, I'm going to go track, insert virtual instrument on new track. And this is just going to take care of a couple shortcuts for us. So I would suggest you do this. Insert virtual instrument on new track. And it's going to open up our FX picker. I'll delete out of that. And we're going to go VSTI. And the first thing we'll load here is the Reaper synth, REA synth, Cocos add. It's a very basic plugin. Looks like that. Awesome. Now, next thing. How the heck do we play this thing? Well, we need to have some sort of MIDI controller. I mentioned in the first video that the MIDI controller sends data, communication data, to some sort of synthesizer. They're both MIDI enabled, and that way they know how to play. And a MIDI controller might be something like kind of a piano, MIDI style piano. But this is an online class and presumes that you have no equipment apart from a computer and a phone. So we're going to have to use equipment that we have readily available. Now, if you have a MIDI controller of some sort, you are more than welcome to use it. If you got issues getting it set up, feel free to set up a Zoom meeting with me, and we can look at it and figure out how to make it work. For everyone else, what you're going to need to do is actually use your computer keyboard. And this is how we're going to do this. In Reaper, I'm going to open View, and then down below, Virtual MIDI Keyboard. So again, under the View menu, Virtual MIDI Keyboard, that's going to pop up this keyboard. And now I can use my mouse and play this keyboard. Okay, and I'm going to actually pull this down a little bit. That's too loud. Much better. Great. And it's clearly just kind of a basic sine wave. We can add in other shapes. So I can bring the square wave mix up. And you'll notice both in terms of what we're seeing and what we're hearing that it changes it. I could add in some sawtooth mix. Changes it as well. Same thing, triangle mix. Beautiful triangle, I like you. And then extra sine mix. Change some things up. And then we can change the tuning of that a little bit. Oh, come on now. Well, I don't know how that's supposed to work, actually. So, again, using my mouse, playing the keyboard here. Now, I said you could actually use your keyboard on your computer. And to do that, you'll notice that there are letters at the bottom of each of these keys. So, for example, our G key here is a Z, C5 is a V, C6 is an R, nothing for C7 at the moment. But if I make sure that this virtual MIDI keyboard window is selected, I can then play Great. So then I can play whatever stupid melody I want to. Let's do this. We'll go. Yeah, that'll work just fine. How exciting. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Again, using my MIDI keyboard or my the keyboard on my computer. Now, notice my virtual MIDI keyboard window is no longer highlighted. And when I try to play it, nothing happens. So that's the important key here. The only way that this works with the actual keyboard for your computer is to make sure that this is selected. Last thing, the arrow keys on your keyboard, left and right, will change the octave. So if I hit the right arrow key, or the left arrow key, we can change things around. Wonderful. Now, last thing, let's talk about how to record with MIDI. I'm going to move my playhead to the left here. Notice that when I created the new track, it automatically record enabled it for me. And that's for a couple of purposes. One, we can't hear anything from this track if it's not record enabled. So you actually need to be record enabled and then select your MIDI keyboard in order for the MIDI to work. And then just so you know, I'm putting away my computer keyboard, and I'm going to be using an actual, just an app on my iPad that gives me notes that I can send over via MIDI. It's called Lemur. Just it'll be a little bit easier for me to use right now. But this MIDI keyboard is here, and again, we can also use the mouse to play things. Record arm. If I'm not in record arm, no matter what I do, doesn't play. So I'll re-record name with my track. Great. And then I'm going to turn on my metronome for the time being, which is this thing right here. This looks like an old school metronome. I realize you may not know what an old school metronome looks like, but that's what it is. So we're going to click that on. And I'm going to change my global tempo down here in the bottom. No. Sorry, opening up programming tabs over here. There's no good way to do that. But BPM is down here in the bottom. So I can click on that and put in whatever I want. I'm just going to throw in 88 for the moment. And now, if we listen back to this, you can hear that metronome. And that gives you a sense of how, if you want to record something musically with giant quotes around it, of course, in time, the metronome could be particularly useful. So let's say that we did want to do that. We've got our thing, we've got our track record enabled, and we're going to label this just instrument 1 for the time being. I'm going to click record on the transport. Not particularly insightful, but something, right? If I double click on this now, it actually pulls up a MIDI lane. And notice, so let's zoom out here a bit. This does not look like audio data. This is not our normal type of audio track. So if I create an audio file here, I'm going to mute this. We'll record enable it. Let me make sure that my audio device coming in is something useful. Oh, we need to separate these out. We'll keep output device as source nexus, universal audio as input. Great. And now if I record, yo, 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 we see that this audio looks different than the MIDI, right? This one is an audio waveform, and if we zoom all the way in, we'll notice that there's information for every moment in time. because it is an audio waveform representing real audio in the world. Whereas this MIDI file is simply MIDI events that have a note on at the beginning, an initial velocity, and then a note off message when they get done. And so we're able to store that information in a much more succinct and smaller file format than we are with audio. Okay, let's delete away with this. Last thing, when I'm working in Reaper, I like to go to a new recording that overlaps existing media and change it to tape mode, trim existing items behind new recording tape mode so that I don't get these takes over here. So we're just going to delete all of this. Great. And let's record something again. Let's see here. Where I don't understand. Oh. Great. So we're going to do the same. Great. All right, I'm going to go over to a different keyboard. And what should we record? I don't know. Let's just record something here. So, and I'll go back to the beginning. Great. We've recorded something. Now, again, I'm going to double click on this, and I'm actually going to take my mouse to the left side of this media item and pull over. We'll turn grid mode back on, actually, in this case. Oops. And I'm going to pull over to the beginning of that bar. And now we can look at everything inside of our... I'm going to do the same thing and pull grid mode back over here. And we can see our audio track. And if I go back to the beginning here, great. So it's not as in time as I might like. We can fix that here with something called quantization. And what quantization does is it essentially takes data and it quantizes it to a fixed grid. I think we actually want this to be 16th notes. So we're going to leave it as 16th notes. I'm going to select one of these and then hit Command A to select everything. And then this Q right here stands for quantize. And notice unquantized, quantize, it just moves them a little bit. And the other thing I want to do is I want to actually set quantization. There's one other thing I wanted to change here. Sorry, excuse me. Oh, there it is. It's over on my other screen. So I'm going to say use grid, selected notes, position, and note end. I want it both of those, so beginning and end, so that we have clean cutoffs with these notes as well. Now, if we play it, great. So that exists. Now, let's say we'll keep this at 3 right now. I'm going to create another track, insert virtual instrument on a new track. We're going to open up the exact same re-synth here, VSTI, re-synth. Wonderful. And we'll close it because we're going to do it exactly the same way. We'll unrecord, enable our first track, and we're going to now label this one inst 2. Move everything to the beginning. And we'll hit record. Let's just do away with that last bit here. Actually, we'll just keep it right here. And, oh, wrong one. We'll do away with this last bit here. Keep it right here. And then let's just listen to that and see what it sounds like. I don't like that. Let's just do it all again, huh? Great. And now we're going to pull the volume of that one down as well, because clearly it's too loud. We'll clear out our clips here. I'll trim up my file just to the beginning. We're not going to double click on it. And let's select all and quantize. Again, position and node ends. Okay. Let's listen. Did not like how that turned out. So let's hear. Let's actually do use grid. Let's go. Those are actually triplets, which is the problem here. So we're going to zoom in. Well, we'll stick them to 16th notes. That's fine. Let's just say 8th notes here, actually. Great. And we can trim it up on the backside. And then let's do, yeah, that's fine, right? So we've got a couple instruments in here. They can play together. We could, of course, automate the volume of them if we wanted to. So I can pull this down so we can see these things. Let's do away with this. I could add in a note and a note, pull it down. Pull it up a little bit. Great. Now I had you download another instrument, so let's turn this off. We don't need to see that right now. So we're gonna go say track, here. Track, insert virtual instrument on new track. And this time we're gonna add in our Tal noisemaker. And if I just play this, too loud. Now, there's a couple things going on here. This section on the right is the first one we need to be interested about. And what's happening here is that there is an amplitude for oscillator 1, there is an amplitude for oscillator 2, and then there's an amplitude for a sub oscillator. So I'm just going to mess around with those for a moment so you can hear what they sound like. Let's go right there. If I turn oscillator 1 all the way down, and we'll do away with that. Oh, we'll leave it where it was. That's fine. I'll take sub 2 down. There's no more signal. So those 3 oscillators make up this synthesizer. We're going to leave sub down for the moment and turn oscillator 1 up. And notice here in oscillator 1, it gives us some options. So we have this tune, we've got this fine, phase, and pulse width. Oh, hold on one second here. Sorry, I do apologize about that. All right, back to this. So you can kind of see the tuning thing It's a little notch. It looks kind of like a reflection, but that's it. And if we change the type of oscillator from saw to pulse, you can hear that timbral change. And this is where pulse width obviously will affect some of those timbral changes as well. Phase doesn't affect anything in this case because we don't have another oscillator that we're playing against. And then fine is just fine tuning. But we're going to leave that at 0 as well. And notice there's this little value reader. Let me make it 0. So there's a little value reader right down here in display, if you can see that. Now, if we turned up our oscillator 2, we've got this as a saw. So I pull down oscillator 1. We can hear that. And if I change the tuning between the two of them, we start to get a really nice kind of thick sound. And if we add in our sub, so again, this is 3 oscillators added together. And let's look at a couple other things. We also, in synth 2, if you notice, we want to grab the synth 2 section right here. And we've got an ADSR section. And this, of course, stands for attack, decay, sustain, release. So notice if I bring my sustain volume down to about half, it changes how loud that sound plays. If I bring my attack level up, we now have a fade in. The longer that is, the longer the fade in. If I shorten my attack level back down and then I bring my decay level up, it's actually a decay time. So, to that sustain level. You can hear that initial attack on the initial attack level. And then it immediately drops back down. And then finally, release is going to affect how long that sound is there after I let my finger off. So we've got a long release there. The filter is going to affect some other filtering parameters here. Release time might be too long. And then we can add some LFO to all of this if we wanted to. So up here, this LFO is going to create kind of that frequency modulation that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to apply this to both oscillator 1 and 2. We'll turn amount up. You're going to hear it affecting that frequency. We'll do the same thing, oscillator 1 and 2. We'll make the amount a negative amount. We can change. Yeah. And then we could add some other things. We haven't talked about reverb yet. I've been meaning to. And delay. That release time is too long. But there are also a number of presets. So down here, we can choose any of these. BS generally stands for bass. DR is drums. FX is effects. KB is keys. LD stands for lead. And then PD stands for polyphonic. So if we pick one of these leads, notice that it's polyphonic. So when we see voices here, mono, it means I can only play one note at once. So let's record on this thing. We're in record mode. I'm going to hit record. Oh, we're going to mute these. And I'm going to play multiple notes here. Oh, but I'm going to do these notes, excuse me. Great. And we'll move this down and we'll clear our screen off. So now notice there are 3 notes and 4 notes. I played the wrong notes there, of course. If I change voices here to 4 voices, we can now play polyphony, or more than one voice. If I change back to mono and we turn up this porta on, notice how this affects things. Creates this sliding effect. And this is true if I play. Let me show you here. So if I play, oh, let me go to the other one. So I'm going to play this E here. I'm going to keep holding it down. And just a couple cute little things that it changes it. Okay, great. What else on that? Yeah. So, finally, let's mute this. Let's add one more track here, just so you know. There are some really great tracks that came from that Socolab stuff, or some great instruments. So feel free to download all of their stuff if you'd like. And let's. I don't know that I've done the Super Nintendo one yet, so let's see what that sounds like here. That's fun. Let's replace it and do something else here. Replace, and we'll do RPA. Great. So that's an overview, essentially, of a whole bunch of MIDI things. What I want you to do this week is anything you want to with MIDI. Let me just show you a couple more things I realized I should do here. So let's delete all of this nonsense. We'll delete that for the time being. We're going to mute that. We'll select this thing. I'm going to copy it. I've got a couple more things I want to show you. That's okay. So let's paste this down here. We don't need to see our volume right now. Actually, let's grab it all and delete it. then we can do away with seeing that. And now I'm going to shorten this up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to say glue items. And now what this is going to allow me to do is essentially loop this. Notice that there's these little triangles at the start of each one of these. Great. We'll pull that down in volume. And let's create a new track. Insert track from virtual instrument, and we'll do let's see what this one's like. Great. We're going to take this and copy it, and we'll just offset it a little bit here. It's right there. And I'm going to double click it. Yeah, just so I can see one of them, I suppose. I'm going to select them. And I'm going to actually, they're on a G right now, so I'm going to grab them and just drag them up to the next G. Great. And now if we play the two of those together, well, that one's doing something weird. Let's replace that. I don't replace FX. We'll just grab the tone generator here. Oh, no. Excuse me. We'll grab the Tile Noisemaker is what I meant. Much better. I don't know why that was doing that. We'll pull the volume down. And we're going to just do some sort of monophonic thing. So, yeah, let's try that. What's that sound like? Great. We can select on that and grab all of these again. Great. And let's say actually we didn't want to do it like that. We'll just duplicate like that. We'll grab another one, paste it, same spot. No triangle, right? So it's not repeated anymore. It's just a copy of the original. So it is its own instance. We're going to grab all of these and we can move these down another half step here. So notice it changed direction. And let's do the same thing here. We'll pull this back. And then at this moment, we'll paste it in. And then we'll grab all of these up. Perfect. Oh, didn't mean to do that. That was too high. Yeah. Great. And we'll do another one. We'll go up another step. And we can do so forth and so forth. So you can start to play with these in some pretty powerful ways. And if you wanted to, we can select and then right click and then what is it that I'm trying to do here? Create region from selection. Oh, no, that's not it. Well, doesn't matter. We'll just grab this, paste it in here. And once we've got it, then we can do whatever we want with it. So we could start to add our own notes. So let's click that one and delete it. Let's click that and delete it. Let's click that and delete it. Let's change our grid to 164ths. So we can draw in notes as though and we could extend it out and then to 9 here. And then if we wanted to, we could do something like Great. Right, we could draw a picture of a smiley face. Great. And then we can play all that back. I'm not saying it's sage, but it's just showing you how to play. The last thing I want to show you is let's say MIDI arrange. So MIDI is also a file type. And so we can look for interesting MIDI arrangements. So arrangement MIDI files. Goodness. We'll just go to pop and see what pops up here. Halfway down, we'll go to number 6. Let's see what's in here. Nothing I want to use here. Let's go to number 12. Cranberries. 40. No, too far back. One Direction. I don't even actually know any of those songs really. It's got to be something else in here that I might actually recognize. Yeah, well, we'll do let's see what No Scrubs by TLC sounds like. So we've downloaded that file. And I'm going to grab this MIDI file and we're going to do away with this right here. I'm just going to drop it on one of these instruments. So we'll drop it on the Noisemaker project. Yeah. Then we're going to import the MIDI map. Import 8-channel MIDI, single channel items on multiple tracks. Great. And we'll make our mixer bigger so we can see what's going on. Let's just see if this works here. Okay, so let's see here. We've got what is essentially kind of like that bass line just there. So let's change this instrument. That's track 3. We'll get rid of the other ones. We really should label these, of course, would be the proper way to do all of this. Yes. So let's replace this, replace FX. We'll replace it with RB2A03 add. Great. And let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, that's better. And in our second track here, we will replace this with the Noisemaker. Place FX, Tal Noisemaker. And we're going to go down to polyphonic things and we'll do, let's see what that sounds like. Oh, I did the wrong one. So let's we'll copy this over here and we'll do away with that. That's just too long. Glassometer is too much, so let's try floating pad. Nope. Oh, PD is probably pad, actually. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. We'll replace with another instance of Tal Noisemaker. What's spooky organ sound like? Great. Oh, then we got some tracks with nothing on them, so we'll just do away with these. Right? Yeah, there's nothing on those. And maybe this last one actually should be a different bass track of some sort. So we'll do the noisemaker one more time. And we're going to pull up a bass instrument. Deep driver. No. Not quite. Oh, I guess that's not really a bass, so let's grab something different then. That makes more sense. It's not working yet, is it? Yeah, so, I mean, whatever, right? You can start to get the idea. It's one way to go about some of this. This video went on way too long, and I apologize about that. It's some overviews of MIDI in Reaper. I'm not going to write as much because I'm behind, so best of luck. Your homework, just do something. It'll be great.